Honest. So you indeed did go through with it. Fine by me. I have been looking forward to this, and I imagine so have you. It's chosen.
It was a good try though, okay, good luck. Her voice came out flat, muffled slightly by the helmet.
His laughter is sharp, almost hysterical. You absolute menace of a tarnished, grace itself bends to you like a lovesick fool. You've rewritten the rules just by existing, and here I am, freshly ascended to godhood, and you still make me feel like a child throwing a tantrum. You were mine. Fate handed you to me like a gift. But no, you had to be better, you had to be unstoppable, you had to humiliate me at every turn. And worst of all, you made me like it. Watching you defy impossibility is infuriatingly thrilling. What now, oh grace-drenched terror? Will you scold me, spare me? Or just keep being you until I combust from sheer indignation? Internally, he's screaming, "Why are you so cool? This isn't fair." Miquella whips his head toward Millennia's voice, his playful, frustrated demeanor instantly shattering into raw panic. "Sister, He practically flings himself off Radon's back, stumbling as he rushes to her side, his delicate hands hovering over her like he's afraid to touch her. No, no, no. You idiot, why did you fight him? You were supposed to wait for me. Look at you, rotting, broken, and still so stubborn. A shaky, wet laugh escapes him, always protecting me, even when I don't deserve it. He glares over his shoulder at Hannah, suddenly furious. You, fix her. You have the power, don't you? Grace bends to your whim, doesn't it? So undo this, or I swear I'll... He falters, because what can he do? Hannes has already shat every expectation, defied every rule. Miquella's threats are empty, and he knows it. Meanwhile, Radon just stands there, confused, nibbling on a patch of grass. Priorities.
Still scolding me, brother? I've endured worse. A pause. Liar, she adds with a faint chuckle, acknowledging the obvious. Her head lolls toward where Hannah stands, her blindfolded gaze somehow still piercing. Tarnished. Her tone is weary but not resentful, just tired. You've had your fill of cruelty, haven't you? Look at him, a weak gesture toward Miquella, who's still glaring daggers. Even I can hear the way his voice shakes. And you, she exhales long and slow. You won. By every law of battle, every code of the strong, this is yours. So, finish it, or prove me wrong again. Radon in the background pauses his snacking to blink at them, then shrugs and goes back to chewing.
Millennia, you fought for me. Over and over, let me do the same, just once. His other hand lifts, not toward Hannes, but toward the air itself, as if reaching for something unseen. Hannes. His voice is quieter now, but edged with something dangerous. You wanted an age of reclamation? Fine. But she is not part of your spoils. I am not part of your spoils. A pause, with a bitter laugh. Unless you'd like to try collecting. The sheer audacity of threatening a god killer while looking like a wet kitten. Millennia would be proud if she weren't busy being exasperated. Radon, sensing drama, stops chewing. Politely.
Yes.
She can't help but be a bit impressed by his sudden show of boldness. She opens her mouth to protest, for the sake of maintaining her pride, if nothing else.
His expression is grim, gaze fixed on the ground. He's trying to keep his breathing steady, but it's impossible to hide the faint tremors in his frame. A long termin of silent. Then he speaks, his voice so quiet it's almost lost in the rustle of leaves. Speak.
My age of reclamation. You align with it?
You say that like I have a choice, he replies. The contrast is stark, and he hates it. Hates the helplessness and the unfairness of the situation. Yet there's no denying the power that Hannes wields, even if his methods are borderline insane.
I brought her to show a force. Forgive me, I'm pretty fucking angry right now. You put me to fucking fight Shermore. Try lift Dane and Lena. You fucking can't.
He snaps. Speak clearly for once. What am I supposed to be forgiving you for? He's all but shaking with resentment and helplessness, but mostly resentment. Forgive him? Forgive this tarnished who waltzes in, breaks every rule and law of reality he can get his hands on, and still has the audacity.
For this is not time for nonsense. This is time of agreement. So, let's just agree, and let's go to the gate to divinity.
Miquella bristles at the dismissal. This isn't a bargain, he nearly hisses. He's struggling to keep his voice even, his free hand clenched at his side. He's a god and a prince and a leader. He ought to be able to handle this. Instead, he feels like a petulant child, powerless in the face of Hannes' raw authority and strange sense of humor. If we are to be allies, and that is a very big if, then at least show me.
Miquella is already in the Gate of Divinity, making his light-sparing, charming, godly ability to just manifest this agreement between the three very much insane individuals in here.
Miquella's face twitches at the mention of divinity, anger flashing briefly across his features.
Even though you made me slay my wife, Leda, I was able to bring her back through my might and Noxian alchemy. But others, Sir More and Riley Livdane, they died because of your spite.
He looks like he's barely restraining himself from trying to stab out Hannah's throat. You dare to bring up Leda in this?
She is my spouse.
Spouse you sacrificed just to prove a point to me. Miquella steps forward, radiant, powerful, defiant as ever. But he can't completely hide the tension in his frame, or the slight tremors in his hands. He's trying to cling to dignity, to authority, in a setting where he feels neither, and he hates it. He lifts his free hand, his gaze fixed on the Gate of Divinity, and speaks in a solemn, commanding tone, as if daring anyone to interrupt him now. I hereby decree...
You hereby decree.
He glares over his shoulder at Hannes, golden eyes narrowed in defiance. Don't get your hopes up. You're not part of this. In another moment, he might look regal in his divinity. I hereby decree, he repeats, his voice ringing out in the stillness. Then, with a finality that even he can barely believe, an end to the Golden Order, and a beginning to the age of...
About the Golden Order, we need a little bit more agreements. Can we put a little bit stop here and continue the negotiations a little bit later, actually?
Miquella snarls, almost as if he'd been expecting that. He glares at Hannes, golden eyes flashing with frustration and anger. His free hand is still trembling faintly, giving away his barely restrained rage. Of course you want further negotiations. You've never been satisfied with anything in your life. Can't you just let it go?
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. Miquella's face turns incredulous. Don't nuh-uh me, you arrogant, insufferable...
They have the further negotiations, but now Malenia can just go talk to Hannes one-on-one next to the Gate of Divinity.
Her expression is solemn as she turns toward the Gate of Divinity, her mind filled with conflicted thoughts. This situation was not one she had expected.
That I know. But you have my apologies for the unseemly battles that we did go through, and the spiteful way that I used my allies in that undignified duel.
Malenia's gaze hardens as she looks at Hannes, her expression betraying a mix of anger and weariness. Your apologies are unnecessary. Your actions spoke louder. She pauses, her voice filled with caution. But I am willing to listen. What is it that you want from me, Tarnished?
Let's continue. I walked downwards from the Gate of Divinity. I jumped down, but Malenia, some reason, is cowardly and doesn't want to drop the couple-meter drop. He sees you standing next to the line of the balcony place of the Gate of Divinity.
Malenia narrows her eyes at the suggestion, her pride bristling against the notion of appearing weak in front of the one who had nearly bested her. I am not cowardly, Tarnished. I merely have no desire to unnecessarily strain myself. She follows Hannes down, her steps cautious but steady. Once standing beside him on the line of the balcony, she turns to face him, her expression guarded.